You plant a blueberry bush with care. You water it every day. At first, everything seems fine. But then, within just a few weeks, the leaves begin to turn yellow. Some start to dry at the edges. The plant looks tired, even though you've been giving it attention every single day. Now here's what feels confusing. In cooler places, that same blueberry plant often grows without much trouble. It stays green. It produces fruit. It even looks strong with less effort. But in the desert, even with more care, it struggles. This can feel backward. You're doing more, but getting less. After seeing this happen again and again, a pattern begins to appear. And once you see it, everything starts to make sense. If this feels confusing, you're not doing anything wrong. Before explaining why this happened, it helps to understand what blueberry plants truly need. Blueberries are not like most garden plants. Many plants can adjust to different soil types. They can tolerate a wide range of conditions, but blueberries are very particular. They need one specific thing to grow well, and without it, they slowly decline. In desert environments, that one thing is usually missing. At first, it may seem like a watering issue. The soil looks dry, the air feels hot. So naturally, you give more water. It feels like the right thing to do. But even after watering more, the plant does not recover. In some cases, it looks worse. That's because the real need is not being met. Once you understand this, the problem begins to feel less mysterious. It also explains why the same plant behaves so differently in different places. When a plant struggles, most gardeners respond with more care, more water, more attention. This comes from a good place. You want to help the plant recover. But in desert soil, more water can sometimes make things worse. Desert soil often drains very quickly. Water moves through it fast, especially if the soil is sandy. That means the roots may not stay evenly moist. They go from dry to wet, and back to dry again in a short time. In other cases, if the soil has more clay, water can sit for too long. This can make the roots uncomfortable. Roots need both moisture and air. Too much water removes that balance. So even though you are watering more, the plant is not able to use that water properly. Over time, the roots begin to weaken. When roots struggle, the leaves show it. They turn yellow. Growth slows down. The plant looks tired. This is often where the confusion grows. You are doing more, but the plant is doing less. So if water is not the full answer, what is really going on? The answer is something we don't always see right away. It's not about how much water is in the soil. It's about what kind of soil the plant is sitting in. Blueberries need acidic soil. This is very important. Their roots are designed to work best in soil with a lower pH. Desert soil, however, is usually alkaline. This means the pH is higher. And this small difference has a big effect. Even if the soil looks healthy, even if it holds water, even if you add fertilizer, the plant still cannot take in nutrients properly if the pH is not right. It's like having food on the table, but not being able to eat it. This is why the leaves turn yellow. The nutrients are there, but the plant cannot use them. The roots are simply not built for that type of environment. This difference in soil is often hidden. You cannot always see it by looking, but it explains why so many blueberry plants struggle in desert gardens. Now that we understand the cause, the solution becomes much simpler. Instead of trying to change the entire garden soil, which can be difficult and tiring, there is a gentler way. You can grow blueberries in containers. This approach allows you to control the soil completely. You don't have to fight the natural condition of the ground. Instead, you create a small environment that fits the plant's needs. A container can be placed in a comfortable spot. It can be moved if needed. It also makes watering more predictable. This reduces stress, both for the plant and for you. You are no longer trying to fix everything at once. You are simply giving the plant what it needs in a smaller space. Now the question becomes, what kind of soil should go into that container? The goal is to create a mix that stays slightly moist, but also drains well. At the same time, it needs to stay acidic. A simple mix often works best. Materials like peat moss can help keep the soil acidic. Pine bark can improve drainage and structure. A small amount of perlite can help air move through the soil. You don't need a complex formula. What matters is that the soil feels light, holds some moisture, and stays slightly acidic over time. When you fill your container with this type of mix, you begin to notice a difference. The plant responds more calmly. It no longer struggles against the soil. Now let's talk about sunlight. In cooler climates, blueberries often enjoy full sun. They can handle long hours of direct light. But in the desert, sunlight is much stronger. The heat builds up quickly, especially in the afternoon. Too much direct sun can stress the plant. The leaves may dry at the edges. Growth may slow down. This doesn't mean blueberries don't like light. They do. But in the desert, the timing of that light matters. Morning sun is usually gentle and helpful. Afternoon sun can be intense. Placing the container where it receives morning light and some shade later in the day can make a big difference. Even a small shift in location can reduce stress on the plant. At this point, something interesting often happens. After adjusting the soil and the light, the plant begins to change. New leaves appear. They are greener. They look healthier. Growth becomes steady, not rushed, but consistent. This moment can feel surprising. The plant that once struggled now looks calm. Not because you worked harder, but because the conditions finally match what it needs. It shows that the plant was never weak. It was simply in the wrong environment. From here, the focus begins to shift. Instead of trying to fix problems quickly, you begin to watch the plant more closely. You notice the color of the leaves. You observe how fast it grows. You feel the soil before watering, instead of following a strict schedule. This kind of observation builds confidence. You don't need to do more. You just need to understand what the plant is telling you. If the leaves stay green, the plant is comfortable. If growth slows, it may need a small adjustment. These signs are gentle. They don't require constant action. And over time, this approach becomes easier. If you're comfortable sharing, I'm curious how often you water your blueberry plant in your climate. Sometimes, small differences in climate can change how often watering is needed. In hotter areas, soil may dry faster. In cooler spots, it may stay moist longer. There is no single schedule that fits every garden. And that's okay. What matters is learning to observe. In the end, growing blueberries in the desert is not impossible. It simply requires a different approach. You don't need to fight the soil. You don't need to push the plant. You just need to create the right conditions in a simple, manageable way. When you do that, the plant responds naturally. And often, the garden improves when we step back a little. Sometimes the most helpful thing we can do is less. Observe more, adjust gently, and allow the plant to grow at its own pace, because in many cases, doing less leads to better results.